At one point, everyone believed Neymar Jr. was in complete control of his career. The transfer was his decision. The club was his choice. The spotlight was his. But the truth? Football doesn't work like that, because in football, you don't just control your talent, you are shaped by your environment. And the moment he left FC Barcelona, he didn't just leave a team, he left a system that made him unstoppable. At Barcelona, Neymar had freedom. He didn't have to carry the team. He didn't have to decide every game. He was part of something bigger, a system led by Lionel Messi. And that gave him something priceless, mental freedom. But at Paris Saint-Germain, everything changed. He became the center, the leader, the project, the answer. And that's where the pressure began. The most dangerous thing in every season strong, goals, skills, dominance. Then it stopped. Injury, absence, slow return, and again, a cycle that never ended. And over time, a player doesn't lose his talent. He loses his rhythm. There's a moment you can't see, but it changes everything. The moment a player starts thinking more than playing. Early Neymar played freely, no fear, no hesitation, no limits. But later, every move became calculated, every decision became slower, and that destroys creativity, because creativity needs freedom. The media doesn't just describe reality, it creates it. At Barcelona, the next king of football, Siganchus Min Sing Seat. At PSG, the problem. And over time, that narrative becomes truth in people's minds. Fans start doubting, the player starts feeling it, and pressure multiplies. Neymar faced a problem no one talks about. Who is he really? A playmaker, a scorer, a leader, an entertainer? At Barcelona, the answer was clear. At PSG, it wasn't. And that created confusion. A player trying to be everything ends up not being the best version of anything. The comparisons never stopped. There was always a shadow. Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, the world expected Neymar to replace them. But here's the truth. No one replaces legends. And that pressure turned his journey from natural growth into an impossible race. What if he stayed at Barcelona? What if injuries never happened? What if he kept the same environment? That's what makes this story painful, because we never saw the final version. We only saw an incomplete one. The truth is not that Neymar failed, and it's not that he's finished. The truth is simpler. His career went off the perfect path, and that changes everything. There's a difference between a bad player and a player who never reached his full potential. Neymar was the second one. Neymar Jr. didn't lose his talent. Football didn't lose an ordinary player. It lost a possible version of one of the greatest players in history. And that's the hardest thing to accept. Not failure, but greatness that never fully happened. There's a hidden cost to freedom, and Neymar paid it. At Paris Saint-Germain, he had everything: control, power, influence. But freedom without structure becomes chaos. At FC Barcelona, there were limits. And those limits protected him. They kept him focused. They kept him sharp. They kept him hungry. At PSG, those limits disappeared. And slowly, so did the version of Neymar the world feared. Defenders were afraid of Neymar, not just because of his skill, but because he was unpredictable. One move could end the game. One moment could change everything. But over time, that fear started to fade. Not because he became worse, but because he became readable, less explosive, less consistent, less dangerous. And in football, the moment defenders stop fearing you, you've already lost something important. Great players are defined by moments, big games, big goals, big performances, moments that stay forever. Neymar had some, but not enough. Not at the level expected from him, not consistently. And that's what hurts his legacy. Because talent creates expectations, and moments fulfill them. Without those moments, the story feels incomplete. While Neymar was struggling to stay consistent, football moved on. New stars emerged. New faces took over. Players like Kylian Mbappe, players like Erling Haaland. The spotlight, a wasted potential, a genius without a complete story? The answer is complicated, because Neymar achieved greatness, but not the greatness people expected. He was brilliant, but not dominant for long enough. He was unforgettable, but not undeniable. And that's what makes his story unique. Not a failure, not a success, but something in between.